Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Fox Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here are your hosts, Kellen, Garrett, Gannon, and coming to you from the Fox Den, their dad, Todd Fox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to the Fox Den Sports Podcast. Along with Kellen and Clay, I'm Todd Fox, and we got some good information for you tonight. Yeah, good to us. Maybe not good to you, but we'll see. Keep on, stay on. Don't click off yet. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, the first thing we want to talk about, let me ask you guys this. Did you watch the All-Star game? And kind of what are the thoughts of it? Because I know you did watch it, but I mean, what are your thoughts on the All-Star game? Because I know Clay has a different perspective like myself because we saw different All-Star games growing up. I mean, Kellen, I mean, you're not, I mean, this was a different All-Star game versus, because it was what, Team Shaq, Team Chuck, and Kenny?
Team Candace, which was like the winner of the Rising Stars.
Yeah.
I mean,
what? Because for me, I'm not enjoyable. But Kellen, what are your thoughts?
I watched it because I had nothing to do last night. There was no football. I was bored. Taylor was working, and I was just curious to see what it looked like. I did not. I mean, the All-Star game is just boring. I want to see these guys get out there and compete. I watched a clip today of, I think it was Jordan's last All-Star game, and Kobe gets fouled to down by 2. Kobe gets fouled, and everybody was telling him to miss to let Jordan win, and he missed one on accident, but he made 2, so it went to overtime. I think Jordan ended up winning, but like, I want to see the competitive. Like, I don't. Maybe it's just like these guys just want the day off, but I just don't know how you can be a competitor and not want to win those games. Like, but I didn't mind the 3-team setup. It was interesting to change it up. I think there could have been better ways they could do it because I basically have the same complaints as everybody. Like a lot of people, and J-Dub even talked about, like, he played for like 5 minutes. He had 2 points. You work to be an all-star. It's an honor, but then you don't play at all. Especially if you lose one of those games. So it's like, like they were saying, like Kobe had like 50 points one year. Like players are never going to do that again. It's first to 40 both times. Like, so I think they got to still keep tweaking it. I didn't mind the 3 teams. I feel like if they did 3 teams, they should make each team play each other and just add the points all together. So Chuck versus Kenny, Chuck versus Shaq versus Kenny, Shaq versus
Chuck.
Yeah, just like everybody playing everybody. Also, there was way too many breaks. Like, somebody did the math. It was a 3-hour event, and it was about 52 minutes of game time, I think, something like that.
Tons of commercials, random crap. Like, I'm not a Mr. Beast fan, and they like his 5. Watching that kid win that thing was cool. I feel like it was scripted because it was at the buzzer beater. Like, Lillard could have nailed one of those,
Oh yeah. Well, but everybody was saying Mr. Beast didn't want the kid to win, and Lillard, you could tell, wanted the kid to give.
Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't he want the kid to win?
Either way, he was at $100K. He was donating it. But supposedly, people that watch him say that he doesn't like giving his money away. But I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason he's famous, because that's all he does. But I have no clue. I don't know anything about him. But
Once again, another guy. I don't know who it is. But anyway. I'll be another topic.
He's like 24 years old and like a multi-billionaire just because of YouTube. But
he's a beast.
That's all I know about him. I don't know. I just thought, I wish they would have gotten to the action. Like, I know some people were complaining about them playing against the Rising Stars because it's like, it's cool, but those Rising Stars are not all stars. Right. So why are those guys even being given an opportunity to go out there and win?
Right.
So I don't know. It felt like they were getting to the right track. I just feel like do it like baseball, maybe like East versus West. Winner gets home field advantage in the finals. Like, I know a lot of people aren't going to care because they know they're not making the finals, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to see them get out there and compete. It's the best players in the league, in the world.
Sure.
I want to see them play hard.
Clay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, for one, they stopped that, Kellen, in baseball about a couple of years ago. They don't do the home field
I did
advantage.
not
Too
know
many
that.
complaints.
Really?
But I thought they were trying something to try to get motivation, but I 100% agree. I think having the rising stars out there is ridiculous, because they're not all stars. I don't mind the rising star gang.
Right.
Sad Casey Wallace didn't get to play, but I just think that here's my thing. For one, they only have 24 guys that make the All-Star team. Is that right? And then they split it amongst 3 teams. When the NBA first started, there were 24, 22 teams, and they had 24 All-Stars. So it hasn't expanded. They just need to add more. There's more people that deserve it.
Yeah.
And then LeBron pulls his junk right there at the last. Yeah. And, and doesn't act like he's hurt. I'm sure he's hurt, but then there's somebody else that could have made the team or kind of come out there and played. And I could care less if it was going to affect them to win or whatever, which obviously it didn't. But those are my complaints. Like Kellen said, the breaks, how long it took. Literally, I thought it started at 5:30 because that's what it said on my TV thing. So I click on it, and I sat there for 2 hours almost, hour and a half, watched the whole concert out there to everybody walk in. And I was like, just tell me when the game's starting. Because I like the 40-point thing, goes fast, and I'm sure those guys are tired. They probably just would rather have a 4-day break instead of playing in anything. Because I'm sure as soon as their game ended a couple of days ago, they had to fly to San Francisco and be a part of that whole weekend. And then here all these other guys are getting to sit at home and go on vacations and see their family and whatever the case. And they're having to, it's almost, and I don't know if they get money for winning, but that seems to be the only thing that motivates pro professionals anymore is just you get $150,000 if you win and $10,000 if you lose. So that to me is the only way you can motivate them. And I don't know. It seems like every All-Star game in every sport, except for the way hockey's doing it now, they're just.
Oh, that was pretty cool. I don't know if did you guys watch any of that?
I watched the highlights of it.
I was watching it. Yeah,
beating the dog out of each other in that fight.
I was watching it.
They booed the national anthem.
And I'm and right when the puck drops, they get in a fight. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. 3 separate fights. I took a picture of it, sent to the boys. Man, you got to be watching this. I didn't see much. There was a lot of shoving and stuff like that afterwards. But it was electrifying. And it's USA versus Canada. Would that be something that would be interesting if the U.S. played Europe or USA against everybody else? I don't know, because I think the world. I guess you could call it the world. I think the world would have an opportunity. Would probably beat up on the U.S. because I think they've got. Honestly,
they didn't in the Olympics, but if you put them all together, they could.
If you put all the best from every, you got Shea, Jokic, Wemby, Luka, Giannis. That team probably would win because that's
who's the best USA player?
LeBron, KD,
Jason Tatum, maybe.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's
Curry.
True.
Tatum, right? I would say Tatum right now.
Yeah.
It was LeBron and Curry up until a couple. They're just getting old, but they're still probably top 5. All these
other guys are young.
Would be crazy.
Yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. I'm not a big fan of the All-Star game. I'm not a fan of the NFL Pro Bowl. The baseball one's decent, but I don't know. It is what it is. I like the October baseball in the World Series.
I did like the Kevin Hart, Shaquille O'Neal exchange. Did y'all happen to see that?
There's several. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which one are you talking about?
Shaquille or Kevin Hart told. I don't know if you saw how Shaquille O'Neal was dressed. He basically had a suit on and a turtleneck, and he's like, "Hey, why'd you come dressed like a porn director?" And then Shaquille O'Neal said, "He goes, well, at least I didn't buy my clothes at Kids R Us." Like you.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And they just kept going back and forth, and he's like, "Hey, I'll talk to you once you take your neck brace off." I was dying. They were just out there on the court just shooting jives at each other. It was pretty funny,
right?
But it had nothing to do with the basketball game.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not here to bash on the All-Star game. I just don't think it's. I'd like to see what the ratings are. See if how many people watch it. Was it just on like TNT and those channels? Because when we were growing up, it was always on CBS, which was everywhere. Of course, there wasn't streaming back then, but
Right.
I felt like back in the day that it was a little bit more competitive. I'm not going to act like they played 3 really, or 4 quarters hard the whole time, but they did play. Seemed like to me a little bit more competitive for sure, and they wanted to win. You're talking Jordan, Bird, Magic. I mean, Dominique Wilkins, all these guys. Those were some fun times. And then again, I am partial to that era of basketball because that's what I grew up on. And it's just, and I'm not bashing on today's because we got a lot of good NBA players. And I can see some of it because, I mean, you don't want to, if you go out there full and you get hurt, I mean, these guys are making tons of money and you don't want to, you do not want to get hurt, especially in an exhibition game. It's like, when Chet got hurt in that game, that exhibition game a couple years ago, you don't want to see that kind of stuff happen. And these guys are playing a lot of pickup basketball. It could happen at any point. You realize that, but it's just frustrating. I'm just never have been recently a fan, especially those games where weren't there some that were like high 100s, like 180s, 190s. I mean, I think there was actually a game that's 200 something.
They're all taking open shots, so it's like somebody said like even first to 40 is too fast because these guys don't miss open shots much. There's not a lot of defense, so it's just like
right.
There's got to be a happy medium, but like I understand not wanting to get hurt, but it is just not fun to watch a game that they don't really care about. Like it's fun to see people. Like I really just watched it because I wanted to see Shea and J-Dub go against each other. I thought that'd be fun. But like J-Dub played like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Had that crazy alley-oop, which was awesome. But
yeah, I agree 100%. Clay, is your mic working?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there for a second I thought it looked like it was on mute, but no.
I had to mute it. Somebody was talking to me behind me here. Sorry.
Okay, I just saw it and I saw you talking. I'm like, oh, he's trying to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, do you think? I mean, is Oklahoma City a city that you think could ever have the All-Star game, or are we just still too small for something like that to have all that?
New arena, I think maybe so, but
later on, yeah,
I don't know.
That'd be definitely interesting for me for sure. Speaking of, let's just talk a little Thunder action here. So they're 44-10 going into the All-Star break. First place tied with Cleveland for the league, but in the Western Conference, we're up by 8 games against Memphis, 8.5 on Denver. This team just continues to roll. Now I know they had that one game against Minnesota, that last game before the All-Star break, and we got beat up on. I mean, there was a game against Miami. We were losing by 21 at one point, 21 points. I know I went to bed, and Kellen started texting me going, you said Shea's ridiculous or incredible, and I'm like,
I feel like I text you that every game because he just, I'm like, automatic.
The thing is, they just cannot keep getting behind on these kind of games because in the playoffs, that's going to come back to bite you. You can't continue to do that because I think I was expecting to see him come back against Minnesota. I think they were tired. They played 5 games in 7 days, which is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about that a couple podcasts ago. What are your thoughts for the second half of the season? I know, because Caruso has never had like a really injury-prone career, but he's been hurt quite a bit this season. Would you shelf him for a little while to get healthy and bring him back, a few weeks before the playoffs start, or do you just keep putting him out there when he's healthy? What would you do?
I like I think that's one thing we do have at our advantage is the depth, but with Caruso, it just seems like something different gets hurt every time. It's his right ankle, then his left ankle, then his elbow, or then whatever the case may be. And it's like, so shelving him, I'm not sure will do any good because they put him out there when he's healthy and then he hurt something else. So yeah, we need him for the playoffs. There's no doubt. So it'll be interesting if he can make it or not, because it's not going to be good for us if he's not around.
No. Kellen, what about you? What are your thoughts on Caruso or
put him
whatever.
on a strict minute restriction.
Yeah.
For a few weeks, because like we don't want him to lose steam. We don't want to lose chemistry with him, but he'll definitely come in handy come playoff time.
When he goes out there, he's all, and I'm not saying the other guys are not, but he is definitely all out. Like he's diving. I mean, he's knocking up against players. I mean,
That's
the
what
guys,
this team is, though. Like everybody's just
they are all like that. They're very aggressive, aggressive defensively, definitely for sure. Just don't want to see him keep getting behind like they have been, because like I said, I think that's going to come back in the end and hurt them if they don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know, so this coming up week, the Thunder will play on Friday night at Utah and then at Minnesota on Sunday the 23rd. Then they turn right around and have another game Monday the 24th against Minnesota. So back-to-back against Minnesota. These back-to-back games are ridiculous, in my opinion. Again, three, what is that? 1, 2, 3 games in 4 days, which
and 2 against the same team.
2 against the same team. It's just like, come on, man. Like, I don't know what the answer is, because I truly don't see the NBA reducing the amount of games from like 82 to 70. Let's just say I don't see that ever happening. Even though we all pretty much know after about 50 games who are the best teams. I understand there could be some different teams in there when you have injuries. I get all that. And I'm not saying go down to 50 games, but you have a pretty good idea on who those top teams are. And then you'll start seeing some of these teams start making a little bit of run at it. Probably honestly, right now, putting a little bit more into it and coming back. And I think Denver's going to be a team to watch out for. I don't think they're going to catch us, but I do think they're a team that could come back and maybe possibly get the second seed in the West. I don't know. What are your all thoughts?
I mean, we'd have to lose Shea to lose this number 1 seed at this point.
Don't say that.
We're that far ahead right now, or something crazy would just have to happen.
I know.
But
you're right. Yeah.
Stay healthy. Come playoff time, that's still Denver's a team like they're gonna match up well against us.
I just think these what do we got, like 23 games left or something like that before end of the season. It's just you got to get it ready, get Chet ready, get Chet in the lineup, get Chet working with Hardenstein, get Chase and Wallace, get Caruso back. Obviously, you want to say keep everybody else healthy, but whatever that means. But I mean, that's your goal now, because I think we're just so much better than most of these teams that we could probably set Che against Utah. We won't, but we could and still beat them. And we just, to me, it's just get ready for the playoffs.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think our priority is just getting everybody healthy, especially the guys that are injury prone, but just making sure our top stars are fully healthy and ready and all that before playoff time.
No, I agree. Did you real quick, what are your thoughts on the Ringers' Bill Simmons, who Bill Simmons is a he's been covering the NBA for many, many years, talks about what Oklahoma City needs to make a big trade. If hypothetically, if Charlotte does get the number 1 pick, he said trade 8 first-round picks or whatever it needs to be for Cooper Flagg from Duke. If he comes out, because he's talking about he wants to come back. Is that something you would even consider, trading that many for somebody like for I'm not saying somebody like Cooper Flagg, but for Cooper or not? No,
I wouldn't personally. I mean, what do we need? What position is he? Like a forward? Like what?
Yeah,
like
6'9". Yeah, he's forward.
Like
6'9" guy.
Who's he going to replace? J-Dub, Chet? A guy of his caliber is not going to want to come off the bench forever. So it's going to be like a Harden situation where, I mean, I guess for a few years, but I feel like we could use those first round picks for something else personally. But
I think for me is, I mean, if you could get him for 2 or 3 first round picks and your pick this year, then give it all. But my thing is when that happens, what happens like in 5 years when Charlotte's like beating the Thunder, and you're like, man, remember whenever the Thunder gave them 8 picks, and now look at them, and they still got 2 more, and the Thunder got nothing left. That's always what happens.
It is.
We're on the opposite end of that, but we don't want it to flip 5 years down the line.
I mean, he would be taking minutes from somebody, number one, and number two, like, I do not want. I mean, I truly think we can build it around Shea, J-Dub, and Chet. I really do. I don't know if they can do financially. They can figure it out or whatever. I don't know, but I don't know if any of those players would be willing to take a little bit less. I doubt it. I mean, but because they can probably figure it all out regardless. But I know like we've talked about before, we got several of these players lined up for the next few years. We got a window right now, and we got to capitalize on that window because it's closing. I shouldn't say it's closing. It will close if we continued with this exact same team. Presti's going to do anything and everything to readjust, and one of these guys that's on the team right now, more than one, but I mean, but we're not thinking of is going to get traded at some point, and everybody's going to just be heartbroken. But it is a business. You just hope it's not. I don't hope it's not J-Dub. That's the one I'm afraid of.
Me and Gary were talking about that this week.
Yeah.
I hope we don't lose them. But it's like you don't see teams keep more than 3 really like stars.
Right.
Like,
No,
like you go all the way back. You have Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. But like there's some other smaller guys, but not on their caliber. You go to the Warriors, it was Clay, Draymond, and Steph for the longest time. But like it's never more than 3.
Yeah.
I feel like if you trade 8 first-round picks, you're getting a generational player that you're building your future around. And either if we got somebody like him, if he's that good, either that changes everybody on our team or he leaves someday and it's like.
Yeah, and I think Simmons thinks he's that kind of a guy. I really do think he thinks that, which I don't know whether or not he is or not.
Kind of guys.
What's that?
Like Shea's that guy, and I feel like the way everybody talked about Chet is he's that guy. And I think J-Dub has turned into like a core piece of our team. I don't know if he's somebody to lead a team alone yet, but he is. Like we have our guys that we need, and they're all young. Like,
sure.
I don't think it's time yet to have to worry about trading picks. I think in 3 or 4 years, maybe.
Right.
5 years, probably for sure, but we're not there yet.
We're not at that point yet. I agree. Let's switch a little bit. We're going to talk Oklahoma Sooners. The first thing I really want to talk about was some football news. Oklahoma signed Kevin Wilson to an analyst job. Kevin just came off a head coaching stint at University of Tulsa that didn't go so well, but let's be honest, it's not easy to win at Tulsa. He was with Oklahoma from 2002 to 2010. He did serve as our offensive coordinator from 2006 to 2010. And I do know, Clay, you remember like in 2008, that offense that had, I think 5 games over 60 points in a row. I believe that's the same year Sam Bradford won the Heisman. He'll help out Ben Arbuckle. He's not going to be calling the offense, but he's a guy that's going to be with us that maybe Arbuckle can bounce stuff off of. Maybe. What are your thoughts?
I think anytime you can bring somebody in with like that experience, it seems like that's what a lot of these other universities are doing, is bringing in people like that, and not just they're paying I don't even know what his age is, but experienced coaches that are in between head coaching jobs or whatever to come in and be an analyst and help them out, instead of hiring somebody that's just fresh out of college trying to learn how to be a coach. Get somebody in there to actually help. And now that they've changed it where those guys can be on the sidelines and everything. I mean, this guy was offensive coordinator for us, offensive coordinator for Ohio State, head coach for Indiana, Tulsa's head coach. I mean, the guy knows football. And so I just think it was an incredible hire for Oklahoma.
Sure. I agree. Do you know Gary Gibbs is still an analyst at OSU and has been since 2018?
Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing. He used to be the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners. Let's talk a little Oklahoma basketball, or not really, but we do want to touch on it. Here's currently Oklahoma is 3-9 in SEC play. We are let's see here, 13 or 16-9. Yeah, 16-9 for the year. I personally do not think they're going to be able to make the tournament. That'd be 3 years in a row under our head coach Porter Moser, who we'll talk about that here in a second. I think SEC has gotten a lot better at basketball compared to what they used to be. But what are your thoughts on OU? Is Porter? Here's I guess the question I want to ask. Porter Moser, is he going to make it? Because I read today his buyout would be a little over $10 million. I want you to think about something. Hypothetically, let's say Venables, hopefully he makes it, but if he doesn't, are boosters willing to pony up a lot of this money to buy out 2 coaches? But let's talk about Porter Moser. I'm not Venables, but Clay, what do you think Porter Moser has a shot at making it past this year?
No.
I
think he's done.
Yeah.
Losing that LSU game, they were up. A&M's pretty good, but they were up 20-plus points on them, lost that one. I mean, obviously they had a good start, but he's done that every year he's been here, and he doesn't ever get a team with much depth, and so he gets a few good players, and then he just, we got a big guy Godwin inside. He's not bad, but we have one, and so we just don't have anybody else to compete with these teams. And
right.
Every team we have left is ranked, and they're gonna have to win 2 of them to make the tournament.
Yeah.
So I want to say A&M again, maybe I could be wrong. Florida's coming up; they're ranked number 3. We've got Kentucky, we've got Ole Miss. I don't remember all the teams, but I just know that you got to beat people like LSU, who's the worst team in the SEC. And you lose to them. You've beaten them the entire game and then lose to them in the last few minutes. What do we have, a 5-point lead with 24 seconds left, something like that?
Yeah.
And come back and lost? Or they came
terrible.
back on us? I don't know if y'all saw the very end of that, but guy shot a 3-pointer and we fouled him and he made it. And so he got 4-point play on that. And then we turned it over trying to go back down the field and they went up and scored. So it's just something wrong.
Yeah, we play at Florida, Mississippi State here, Kentucky here, Ole Miss. We're at Ole Miss, Missouri here, and at Texas. I will be at the Kentucky game as Clay will as well. I'm pretty excited about that because I've always, even though I'm an OU guy, I've always liked Kentucky. Always since I was a little kid. Glenn, my older brother, and I used to play basketball in our rooms. When we were little bitty guys. We put a trash can on top of the dresser and tape a backboard, and we would play with this. I don't know, it was almost like a plastic. It was a real plastic ball that wasn't. You could push in a little bit, so it wasn't like real hard or anything. Of course, he was like 9 feet tall compared to me whenever we were little kids. I'd shoot it, and he'd swat. It never gave me a like, hey, let's courtesy shot. He'd always slap it out of the way. But Kellen, any thoughts on OU basketball?
Was your point about Kentucky with that?
I was always Kentucky. And
gotcha.
He was like, usually I think he was like Indiana. So I was Kentucky.
Yeah.
Those were some teams that were really good when we were little. And I'm talking like 74, 75, time frame, 76. That's what I remember. But yeah, I forgot about it while I was even talking about it.
Seeing Kentucky Wildcats on OU's floor.
It will be interesting. Kellen, any thoughts on OU basketball? I know you're obviously out in Atlanta. Is basketball even talked about very much where you're at with amongst the crowd you run around with? No.
All my friends are not from here, so
okay,
they're not one of them's a Boston Celtics fan, one of them's a LeBron fan. So whoever LeBron decides to play for that year is who he's rooting for.
Not a college talker.
Yeah, nobody talks about college basketball really. The only guy that I hear talk about college basketball is an Alabama fan. So every time Alabama gets eliminated from the playoffs, he's like, "We're a basketball school."
What?
He's always just joking, but he's just ready to move on.
Oh, okay. I thought he was serious.
No. But yeah, nobody cares about basketball. Nobody cares about. I don't hear anybody talk about Hawks or anything. So
interesting.
It's just
Trae Young. Come on.
That's what. Yeah. Nobody. I know a few people that are fans, but not
sure.
Not not like us.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this: you guys saw Dari Noka is an Oklahoma graduate. He's I believe, I don't know, is he with ESPN? But he's out on the East Coast.
He's the
Is it
SEC network host.
SEC network. Okay, that's right. And he's an OU graduate, big OU fan, and he roasted the Oklahoma fans because there's the half empty stadium. They're not very loud, and I know the configuration isn't at Lloyd Noble compared to some of these other colleges. However, what are your thoughts, Clay, on was he right?
I definitely think he's right. There's two things I would think with that. Is one, it's not the university's fault. They're building a new stadium with the city of Norman, new arena. So they're going to hopefully fix some of that. But
Sure.
I'm kind of nervous about it being off campus.
Yeah.
But two, everybody said this was going to happen. I mean, Oklahoma State basketball was way bigger than Oklahoma basketball, and they're getting less fans. And but everybody said this is going to happen when bring in the Thunder. Is that
Okay.
whether you say they're fair weather friends or whatever, but you just, I mean, my wife and I went to a Thunder game, and I mean, if you go eat, your tickets, you're spending over $100. I'm just a normal American dude. I don't have money to go spend $100 at an OU game, then go back to a
Moneybags Benchy.
Do what?
Moneybags Bench.
Yeah, that's not me. And so I think that's part of the problem is that just most average fans just can't make it to all this stuff. And I'd go to Sooner games. I mean, like you said, we're going in a couple of weeks to go see OU in Kentucky, but that's I usually try to make one OU game a year, but it's just a lot of money. And when the Thunder's this good, like, well, I think I'd rather go watch the Thunder play.
You know what? I never really even thought about that, but you're right, because most of these, obviously the colleges are not 25 minutes away from an NBA facility. I'm assuming, I'd have to look at it and see, but I'm talking about Auburn, Alabama, KU, Baylor. These I'm just thinking of off the top of my head of some teams that have been really good at basketball recently. You know what I mean? So you're on to something, man. I never even really thought about that, because that's probably when.
That's why
you're right. OSU used to be packed. So that's interesting. That's a very, very good point. Clay or Kellen?
That's why I made it.
That's why you made it. Very good.
Thank
very good. Did that work? Guess not. Anyway. All right, Kellen. I tried to do something. I'll try to edit that part out, hopefully. Kellen, what about you? Any thoughts on anything like that? Does it bother you?
I mean, I don't live there, but I would have said the same thing. Like, I would rather watch, especially when we're good, I'd rather watch the Thunder. Like, it'd be different if, I guess it'd be different if Sooners were that good. But, when you have the Thunder, who are among the best in the league, tied for number one, and they've been on the up and coming for years, they're just more fun, more exciting. I mean, personally, I do not watch college basketball at all until March.
March Madness.
I just don't care. I don't like college basketball is different than college football. Like, you're sitting there watching it's a lesser version of the NBA. Like, the way the shots these people miss, and it's not as fun to watch as the NBA. So that's just bound to happen, but especially when you're that close to an NBA team, it's going to affect the fans. And like you said, for the average American, nobody can spend this kind of money all the time. Like, it'd be different if they were cheap tickets, it'd be different, but these things are expensive.
I agree 100%. All right, guys, here's my I got two would you rather questions. The first being, let me put my glasses on. Would you rather live in a world without music or a world without books?
Probably music. I think
you would rather live in a world without music?
I really don't listen to music that much.
All right, that's cool.
Apparently listens to Kendrick Lamar.
I don't really listen to him. I just know who he is. But I do listen to music, but like, I don't know. When sports are going on, I got the radio on my way to work and stuff.
Sure.
I'm listening to that. Like when there's something relevant, I'll listen to a podcast or listen to a book on tape. Like I feel like there's a lot more you can do. I'm not a big enough music person for that to destroy my life. I know a lot of people are listening 24/7, but that's just not me.
I would probably say music as well. Just almost identical to what he said, because I don't listen to it that much. I don't understand. I mean, I don't dislike it.
Right.
I mean, it's just, you know, to help the American society in the future, who's going to help us the most? The music industry or a book? So I'm going with books.
Well, for me, I don't want to read, so I'm good. If I don't have to read any books, it stinks. What I could do is listen to it on tape, maybe. But
Audible doesn't count as a book.
Okay.
Or as reading.
I can't give up Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Van Halen, Whitesnake. I can't give them up. I just can't. I'm sorry.
Jerry Miller Band.
Matt Carney, the Red Clay Strays.
Matt Carney, Red Clay Strays. Who's that?
Look them up, buddy. Me and Amy are going to Matt Carney here fairly soon, and then the Red Clay Strays are here very soon.
You going to the
I'm not going to that
from Oklahoma concert?
I am not in Stillwater. No, yeah. I know some buddies of mine that are going, but no, I'm not going because I haven't heard any of those bands. But once I start
heard of Cross Canadian Ragweed?
I think I've heard of them,
yeah.
But I don't. Why don't you sing me a few lyrics, and I might know who that is.
Yeah, I'll wait till we go off air.
All right, and the next question is:
I'd have to read it to you.
Would you rather rock a mullet or rock a perm?
I've already done one, so I'm gonna stick with the mullet.
Clay?
Perm.
Didn't you have a perm?
When I was in middle school, yes, I did.
That's what I thought. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, you know, when I asked this question, I think you had a perm. Like I saw some pictures. You did not know
me then.
No, I didn't, but I saw pictures. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I knew you had a perm.
Sexy.
I've heard the stories enough. He feels like I knew you.
Hey, let me tell you, the mullet all the way. I had the mullet down here with shaved head, not shaved, but I mean real thin through here, and I actually had it thin right through here. I saw a guy do that, thought it was really cool. Looked ridiculous. Had the mullet, you know, Clay, but I mean my mullet was way down here. I could pull it through, touch my ear. I mean, it was disgusting.
Bosworth.
But I thought I was cool.
When Gary edits this thing, can we get him to put a picture of the side by side of our mullets?
That may not be a bad idea. I'd have to send him more.
Did you have a Guess jean jacket on?
Me?
Mm-hmm. And
leather coat
jeans?
No, I had my leather coat, my black, or not my black, my gold chain, isotoner gloves. I was ugly, but I thought I was good looking. I don't know how the heck I got so many girls to go out with me.
The mullet's back.
Yeah.
It's
the mullet. The only thing about my mullet is like this side. Like if you look at me from the front, you could see the mullet on this side, but this side it curled over, so it looked terrible. But anyway,
I remember that.
You remember?
I remember going, "Wow, this guy, straight up tool."
But then your sister cut the mullet.
Tragic.
For whatever reason.
I know the reason.
Because I wasn't cool.
Yeah,
man, I'm getting all choked up here talking about the mullet.
You gonna be all right here, man?
I don't know what that means. Just bringing back so many memories.
I was like, maybe
I just don't know what to do.
Maybe you should not take a drink or eat during the podcast.
No, I mean, I didn't eat. I'm drinking. I'm dying over here. All right. Foxton Sports Podcast would like to thank all of our listeners for listening to the Foxton Sports Podcast. Please stay safe. Be savage, not average. Remember to join the skulk. And also, iron sharpens iron. I'm like completely off right now. Kellen, what else?
Until next time, stay thirsty, my friends. And
stay thirsty, my friends.
And until next time, goodbye, everybody.
Good. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Fox Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Fox Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Fox Den Sports and on Facebook at Fox Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Fox Den Sports.